In renovating this old bank building in Harrisburg, the Susquehanna Art Museum hopes to open the door to art education around the capital region. Now, to be clear, Senator Alloway said he does not want his bill to become a slippery slope, and he wouldn't support an expansion onto school property. Part of what Kirsten is so excited about the Joshua Farm for is that it gives people a chance to see where their food comes from. Remember those beets that Gary was so enthusiastic about? Well, here's one of them. Construction is still very much a man's business, but one Lancaster woman proved this month that progress can be made. Every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. here at Center Square Bakery, you and your family can come in, serve yourself up a nice warm bowl of soup, and like Natalie said, pay what you can. Chris graduated from Messiah College today, but he had a very different experience than his fellow classmates in cap and gown. And if your dog or cat is due for that rabies vaccine, you're going to want to avoid the $300 fine from the state by getting them vaccinated as soon as possible. It sits on a residential stretch of North 3rd Street in Midtown. A front porch with chipping paint gives way to a space where artists can create. Among the distress of a city riddled with debt and violence, Liz Larrabee hopes to make a difference.
That's one of the stereotypes of artists, right? Like you have this creativity that's sort of born out of distress or a lack of resources, and that's sort of great breeding ground for creativity. Like if you don't have what you need, you find a way to get that.
What Larrabee needed was a studio for her cardboard art, and she wasn't alone.
I used to work out of my bedroom, which any artist will tell you is not an ideal situation, because I tend to get really messy with the things I do, and yeah, little pieces of paper everywhere. So
a lot of people who are starting out don't have access to a lot of resources, including the funding for an actual, bona fide studio.
It took Liz only 3 weeks to fill her open spots. In seeking to give local artists an affordable place to make creative art, Liz is helping put community art back on the map in Harrisburg. The Make Space is now home to 7 artists, each who pay just $85 a month and split the cost of utilities.
It's the one in the wooden frame.
The group renovated the row home themselves, decorating some walls with found poetry and leaving others bare and raw.
I love this city, and I really want to see the city flourish and for it to have meaning for the people that are here and who are trying to make it work here.
Liz said their neighbors are wonderful and have even lent a hand to help make the space what it is.
I think that art is one of the most effective tools of community development I know about. There are so many barriers that can be broken down if people are engaging the people that are in front of them and trying to draw out the creativity that's innate in each human being.
Larrabee knows that art is not the only answer to this city's problems, but she believes it's a start.
Push-ups, because it's so heavy.
Tony Fort carries a burden no 7-year-old should have to bear.
It's going to take a child's life to save Tony's. It's got to be the same match, the same size.
Tony needs several new organs.
Stomach, intestinal, and a liver transplant.
When most kids blow out a dandelion, they wish for money or toys. But Tony wishes for life.
What'd you wish for?
Something that I always wanted.
Can you tell me what that is?
Transplant.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. That was the last dandelion. Tony acts and, plays like a real boy, like a legit boy, but he has Hirschsprungs.
1 in 5,000 babies is born with the disease that does not allow them to digest food properly.
When any food hits that point, it just lays there, or it'll feel like it wants to go. It's not like your normal human function where you eat the food and it goes.
It only takes 30 seconds to become a registered organ donor.
Tony and his family recently teamed up with Donate Life PA to encourage everyone to consider organ donation.
There's so many people that in Pennsylvania alone that need an organ. It's a really crazy amount.
116,000 people in the United States are currently waiting for organs. With parental consent, children as young as 16 can sign up through PennDOT. But there's often a need for much younger, much smaller donors. And while it's something no parent wants to think about, ever, it's something Monica says should be done early.
It's the gift of life. It's the greatest gift you could possibly give somebody. And You know, you don't want to always talk about what can happen, but life is, you know, we're not in a bubble.
Sari Heidenreich, ABC 27 News.